Good morning, students. Welcome to P.N.AMERSEY e-learning classes. Today we are going to learn chapter number 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals, part 2. Students, today we are going to learn the remaining causes of deforestation. And first one is deforestation will cause frequent flooding of rivers leading to loss of life and property. The roots of forest trees and other forest plants help in absorbing some of the rainwater and make it percolate into the ground. This reduces the amount of rainwater which rushes quickly into rivers and flooding does not occur. When the forest trees, it means forest plants, are cut down, the percolation of rainwater into soil is reduced. A lot of rainwater from deforested soil rushes into the rivers quickly, causing floods. In this way, deforestation decreases the water holding capacity of soil, which leads to flood. Students, another reason for the floods is the soil erosion caused by deforestation. The eroded soil is carried by flowing rainwater into rivers. The eroded soil keeps on collecting on the river beds and decreases the depth of rivers gradually. Due to decreased depth, the water carrying capacity of the river is reduced. When heavy rain occurs, the river is not able to carry away all the rainwater quickly. The excess water overflows from the banks of the river into the adjoining areas, causing floods. These floods damage standing crops, houses, and even drown people living in nearby areas. Another consequence of deforestation is deforestation affects the water cycle, leading to decrease in rainfall. The decrease in rainfall lowers the groundwater level and could cause droughts. The forest trees put a lot of groundwater sucked through their roots into the atmosphere as water vapors by the process of transpiration. Transpiration means evaporation of water from the leaves. This water vapors help in bringing rain in that area. When the forest trees are cut down, then the lesser number of trees put less water vapors into atmosphere through transpiration. Since less water vapor is put into the atmosphere, there is less rainfall in that area. When there is less rainfall in that area, then less water percolates into the ground. Due to this, the groundwater level also gets lowered. The shortage of surface water in ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. and groundwater due to persistent low rainfall in an area can lead to droughts. Now students, last consequence of deforestation is deforestation leads to the extinction of many wild animals and plants. Forests are the natural habitats of many wild animals, birds as well as plants, as you all know. When forest trees and other forest plants are cut down, the natural habitat of wild animals and birds get destroyed. These homeless wild animals fall prey to human beings and get killed by them. Moreover, in the absence of forest trees and plants, the wild animals and birds do not get enough food and starve to death. In this way, many animals and bird species become extinct, means vanish from that area. When forests are cleared. During deforestation, many wild plant varieties growing in the forest also get destroyed. So student, these are some consequences of deforestation. Students, I want to explain you terms like drought and desertification. Now what is drought? Drought means सूखा पड़ना. Fewer trees would mean that less carbon dioxide will be used up, resulting in its decreased amount in the atmosphere. This will lead to global warming as CO2 means carbon dioxide, traps the heat rays reflected by the earth. The increase in temperature on the earth disturbs the water cycle and may reduce rainfall. This could cause drought that you can see in the picture. Now the second term is desertification. What is desertification? The top layer of soil is the most fertile soil. The removal of top layer of soil during soil erosion exposes the lower hard and rocky layer of soil. This lower layer of soil has less humus and it is less fertile. Plants do not grow well in this less fertile soil. Gradually, the fertile land gets converted into a desert. So, the process by which fertile land becomes desert is called desertification. Now students, our next topic is conservation of forest and wildlife. Students, as we have just studied that one of the adverse effects of deforestation is the destruction of natural habitats of wild animals. So deforestation poses a serious threat to the survival of wild animals and their natural environment. The large scale poaching का मतलब होता है killing of wild animals residing in the forest by men to obtain their skin, etc., is also a big threat to the survival of many animals and bird species. The death or killing of wild animals disturbs the food chain in which these animals take part, resulting in undesirable consequences for the whole ecosystem. We should conserve forest and wildlife to preserve biodiversity. Biodiversity means variety of species, to prevent endangered species from being extinct and to maintain ecological balance in nature. Students, forest and wildlife can be conserved by setting up areas like biosphere reserve, wildlife sanctuaries and national parks, etc. Now what is biosphere reserves? Biosphere reserves are large areas of protected land from conservation of biodiversity and the traditional life of the tribal living there. Now what are national parks? National parks are areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitats and natural resources. And third one is, what are wildlife sanctuaries? Wildlife sanctuaries are areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them or their habitat. So student, the purpose of establishing several biosphere reserve, wildlife sanctuary and national parks in India is to conserve wild animals and their natural surrounding such as forest, so as to maintain a healthy balance in nature and to prevent the extinction of endangered wild animals. The Gujarat state of Western India has 4 national parks and 23 wildlife sanctuaries which are managed by the Forest Department of Government of Gujarat. Now students, we will discuss about Biosphere Reserve. What is Biosphere Reserve? A Biosphere Reserve is a large protected area of land meant for the conservation of wildlife, biodiversity and the traditional lifestyle of the tribal people living in the area. In creating the large areas of conservation called Biosphere Reserve, the need of local people to have access to the resources of this area has been kept in mind. So a special feature of the protected areas called Biosphere Reserve is that local people or tribals are an integral part means necessary part of it. Thus, Biosphere Reserve jointly manage biodiversity and economic activity. Now we will discuss about biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity refers to the variety of organism. Organism means plants, animals and microorganisms, etc. found in a particular area or habitat. In other words, the presence of a large number of species in a particular area or habitat is called its biodiversity. The Panchamahari Biosphere Reserve consists of a national park called Satpura and two wildlife sanctuaries called Bori and Panchamari. Now students, we will describe the Panchamari Biosphere Reserve in somewhat detail. Panchamari Biosphere Reserve is in Madhya Pradesh state of our country. The biodiversity found in Panchamari Biosphere Reserve is unique. The plants and animals found in Panchamari Biosphere Reserve are similar to those of the upper Himalayan peaks and to those belonging to lower Western Ghats. Conserving and preserving areas of such biological importance make them a part of our national heritage. The Panchamari Biosphere Reserve contains other protected areas in it. In fact, Panchamari Biosphere Reserve contains two wildlife sanctuaries and one national park. The two wildlife sanctuaries contained in Panchamari Biosphere Reserve are Bori Sanctuary and Panchamari Sanctuary. The national park contained in the Panchamari Biosphere Reserve is called Satpura National Park. There is also a reservoir called Tawa Reservoir in the Panchamari Biosphere Reserve. Students, here are some glimpses about Panchamari Biosphere Reserve that you can see in this slide. So students, this is the end of today's video. We will meet again with the next topics of this chapter. Up till then, thank you and goodbye.